Hey everyone, we are live from AI4, the big AI and Agentic AI event in the summer this year in Las Vegas with Cognigy. Alan, how are you?
I'm good. Great to see you again.
Great to see you. You're doing amazing work in Agentic AI and CX these days. For those who aren't familiar to yourself or Cognigy, maybe introduce the mission and the vision these
Yeah,
days.
sure. Thank you very much. So, yeah, I'm Alan Ranger, and as you can tell by my funny accent, I'm a Brit. I have the pleasure of leading marketing here at Cognigy, and what we do is, all we do, in fact, is make AI agents for contact centers. And of course, these have evolved over the last 8 years. They started off with probably the first NLU base that really worked. So the ones that deterministic flow and delivered great results. But of course, over the last 2 years, everything has changed with the advent of large language models, and of course, the whole concept of agentic. It's funny. This time last year, we were here at AI4. Nobody had even heard of agentic. This year, everybody's an expert. Every booth has the word agentic on it, so it still is very much the hot topic of the conversation.
It is, and definitions are important here. How would you define agentic AI, and what makes it a game changer for CX and customer service in particular?
Yeah, sure. So the whole concept of agentic AI is it has agency. So it has the agency to actually do something. So in the customer service context, you can create an AI agent that has human-like reasoning and human-like understanding and human-like decision-making and human-like task carrying out. So yeah, you can have an AI agent that understands absolutely everything and every element of the conversation. Never again will you have a bot saying, I don't understand, because it will understand everything. But then, of course, what you have to do is ground it on the task that it has and the knowledge that it has. And so it's just focused on completing tasks.
Well, that's a great, you make it seem so simple, very straightforward definition.
Well,
And yet you're one of the few companies at AI4 specifically talking about AI agents for CX. Why do you think that's the case? Why is that focus still maybe not the top one or two use cases for agentic AI yet?
yeah, I think the reality is that nobody else has done it at scale, because there's lots of new businesses that have set up, and they're basically just a large language model with a wrapper. But of course, they've never done an enterprise integration. They have no orchestration layer. And yeah, it's easy to build a great AI agent that can have a wonderful conversation. But making it actually do something and being task oriented and connecting it to the CRM, connecting it to the backend systems, and then being able to scale to thousands of interactions all at once is quite hard. So I think that's why a lot of people are focused on perhaps some of the other use cases that are more simple and the individual agentic agent for individuals rather than doing something at scale in the contact center. But no, you're quite right. I've walked around and I haven't found anybody else talking about agentic AI for the CX. Lots of people doing analytics, that sort of stuff for CX, but not actually consumer-facing AI agents, which of course is where all of the value is.
Well, it's always you're ahead of the curve, and you have so many great customers and examples of real-world deployments at scale. Care to shout out to any of those customers that are really transforming their experiences?
Yes, so one fantastic customer here in the US is Greyhound, the coach line company. They're not really a coach line now; they're more of a tech company, but they're incredible. So they became a customer probably just over a year ago, and they built their first AI agent for coach travel for India. And why they picked India, I'm not sure, because it's pretty tricky doing coach travel in India. There's lots of variables that are going to affect your journey and your bookings. And they built it using the traditional deterministic AI. And it took them about 6 months, but they got it integrated into all of the back-end systems, where's my bus, the timetables, the ticketing, all that sort of stuff. And they did a tremendous job, and the Indian market absolutely loves it. They then decided they would launch in the US. And while they were doing acceptance testing, everybody said, this isn't a good enough experience, because everybody had now heard of agentic AI. People who got used to conversing with ChatGPT and all of the other large language models. So they took a very bold move. We'd just launched the product literally only a month before, our agentic version. And they built an agentic version of the same AI agent using the new toolkit. It took them 2 days. They could only do that, of course, because they had all of the experience of building deterministic traditional AI. And they launched it and everybody loved it. I mean, a great example, of it using its own intelligence and decision-making that they gave us was that somebody just messaged in, hey, I've got a ticket for my friend, but they've lost their phone. And had you sent that to a deterministic bot, that probably isn't a flow that you'd have thought about. But of course, the agentic version went, that's no problem. Have you got access to a printer? And it's like, yeah, oh, great, just print the ticket and give it to your friend. So just simple things like that, where it can just have the human-like understanding and the human-like reasoning, and just being able to deliver a great service throughout. So no, we're delighted what they're doing. And also, to be honest, excuse me, I've obviously been speaking too much over the last couple of days here at the conference. I was actually quite surprised the level of adoption with big enterprise customers for consumer-facing agentic. Most of our customers have built brilliant deterministic bots. People like Lufthansa that can have a flight rebooking AI agent that can handle 10,000 rebookings in a minute. Why change it? Because it works so well. But there's all of the big enterprise companies now going, actually, we need to match the customer experience, and we need to lead the marketing customer experience. That's going to be the differentiator. So yeah, it's been really encouraging. Pretty much all of our enterprise customers have now got a program going on for Agentic AI.
Brilliant.
I'll just take a little bit of coffee.
Please, it's nonstop, I know. And, live streams are always fun. And you've revamped, relaunched something called Cognigy Academy and launched something called the Mastery Program. I'd really love to understand the driver behind those efforts. And I guess the push is to adopt AI faster and more effectively, I assume.
That's exactly it. As you might imagine, there's not that many people with agentic AI expertise, particularly for customer service in the market. So we've just decided we're going to go all out and educate the market and create as many experts or masters as possible. There's a huge demand. It's all been driven by market demand. All of our customers are saying, where do I get the people that understand how to do this? And us as Cognigy, we can't service all of that demand. So there's a huge opportunity. I mean, we originally had the Cognigy Academy, and we had thousands of people certified to build the deterministic flow-based stuff. And the response from that community has been brilliant. So many people have signed up. So many people have been qualified. You now look on LinkedIn, there's loads of Cognigy mastery badges on people's profiles. So yeah, it's just our way of making sure that the industry has enough expertise to actually deliver this fantastic customer experience we've all been waiting for.
Brilliant. And, how do you see human agents, contact center agents, and AI agents working together in the future? We've heard augmentation, we've heard, full automation. I imagine it's somewhere in between, but what do you see as the likely reality there?
There will always be humans in the loop. I mean, I'm on a mission at the moment to try and get everybody to talk about the humans as human advisors. And then so we can have AI agents and human advisors. It's going to take me a while to get everybody to do it. But no, certainly the advisors are going to be there to do the value tasks. There's no reason now, because agentic AI is so good, there's not really any customer service scenario that you couldn't automate with an agentic AI. And so that they'll take the agentic stuff will take away all of the tasks that the humans don't need to do, and the humans can create value in terms of being brand ambassadors. Because the people that love working in the contact centers love having conversations and helping people with complex problems and big life moments. I don't know if you're familiar. We sponsored a program called the Agent of the Future. We've been running it at the CCWs all over Europe, and we'll bring it to the US next year. So we bring 20 of the top contact center agents from the big brands that we work with, and they have a special day at CCW where we just talk to them about the future. They learn how to build their own agentic AI agent, and then some of the really brave ones come on stage the next day at the main conference. So they're there sitting in front of their bosses and hundreds of people. They've never been on stage before. And when we did it in London, there was this brilliant advisor from TripAdvisor, actually. And she said, I love AI. I hated doing all the demeaning tasks. It has just given me so much future as a brand ambassador for my company. And I just can't wait to just be, implementing the AI to make the tasks go away and just being able to give fantastic service and time, more importantly, to the customers that really need to talk to a human.
Wow, what a wonderful testimonial. And I love the focus on education and practical, utilitarian, useful business cases. So what's the biggest misconception, do you think, you hear from companies or, quote unquote, the experts who are looking at AI for customer service? And, how do you address or dispel those myths?
Yeah, there's still a huge amount of confusion in the market, what agentic really is. I mean, a lot of people have just taken what they had before and stuck an agentic sticker on it. And then there's other new companies, as I was saying earlier, that are just a large language model with a wrapper on it. So I think the biggest misconception is how easy it is to implement an enterprise-ready agentic AI for the enterprise. As I said, you can build the agent that can have a great conversation, but you really do need that orchestration layer to be able to connect it to everything, whether it's your CCaaS, or whether it's your CRM, but also to be able to monitor it as well. You need to know what's going on. You need to know if the AI agent is performing. And most of the traditional sort of contact center platforms were built to manage the performance of humans, not a blend of AI and humans. So I think, we're beginning to see that, the misconception is you can just plug it in and it'll just work out of the box. And we're seeing that a lot, but generally by about the second or third meeting, those people aren't around anymore. And people have realized that you do need that enterprise experience and the ability to scale up to what you need.
Great point. I love your tagline at Cognigy, built for what's next.
Yep.
So what's next? If we flash forward a year or two, what do you think the customer service world will look like? And what are your aspirations there?
Yeah, I think it'll go way beyond customer service. I mean, obviously, customer service is not done. There are still so many bots out there that suck, and so many contact centers that are overloaded with massive wait times and demotivated human advisors. So, we're just going to continue to transform the whole experience for inbound customer service. But what I can see happening with agentic AI is it's going to move much more into the outbound sales and marketing side of things. So it'll be every customer interaction. It won't just be the inbound customer service. Because, excuse me. Before, you couldn't really build a deterministic AI agent for outbound because you had no idea what the person on the other end was going to say when they picked up the call or started the chat. But with agentic AI, you can actually do that. You can do these outbound notifications or outbound conversations, and immediately the conversation starts as a unique, hyper-personalized conversation able to happen between the AI and the consumer. And that really transforms sales and marketing. I would just imagine that maybe you might be a shampoo manufacturer and somebody has used your shampoo and it made their hair go a bit frizzy. So they just scan the QR code on the back of the bottle and then immediately start a conversation with an AI agent. And the AI agent knows which product you're looking at because of the QR code, knows you're got frizzy hair, and it can then give you recommendations and start this one-to-one relationship, hyper-personalized with millions of people. And then maybe in a couple of weeks' time, they can send a voucher for some conditioning products for frizzy hair, that sort of stuff. And as long as the consumer doesn't break the connection, you've got this lifetime connection between brand and consumer, which never existed before. Typically the only relationship would be with the retailer, wherever the consumer bought the product. So that's going to be massive. And then in the enterprise, in B2B, we have a very large bank in Europe that have built their first outbound AI agent. And what it's doing is that somebody goes onto their website, they fill in an application for a loan. But of course, you then need to speak to a certified financial advisor before you can take the loan out. You can't just, this is in Europe, so all very, very strictly regulated. But what was happening is these very expensive certified financial advisors were making outbound calls. Only 15% of the people picked up. So they were just dialing, getting, it just wasn't working. So very simple. We built this hyper-personalized, very human-like agentic AI. Called, said, hey, I'm calling from the bank. You filled in this application for your loan. I need 10 minutes for you to talk to a financial advisor. Is now a good time? And quite often the person would say, no, I can't. So it would reschedule, and then it would call back, and it would reschedule and keep doing that until the person was ready to talk. But what that's resulted in is that these advisors, now 85% of the people they're talking to that they actually have a live call with are converting and actually taking the loan and continuing. So they've gone from 15% pickup rate to 85% completion rate just with a really simple agentic AI. And you couldn't have done it without agentic. You couldn't have done it with a flow-based one. So yeah, I think the future is going to be the whole contact between the whole enterprise and their consumers.
Wow, so exciting. So as far as looking ahead, if customers maybe are a little bit behind the curve in getting started with agentic AI or looking to prepare, what should they do first? And how should they engage with Cognigy perhaps in their journey? What would be a good first step?
It is real and it is now. So everybody does need to be looking at it. The first step really is to, work with the team and identify what that use case is. In the early days of AI, you would see these sort of center of excellences being set up. And all they were doing was getting the technology and playing with it. They didn't have a use case. And even this time last year, we were meeting our first sort of vice president of AI transformation. And they'd been appointed by the board or the chief executive to use AI in the business. And they didn't really know what the use case was going to be. One of them actually admitted to me last year that he went to ChatGPT and said, what should I do? And ChatGPT said, I'm great at customer service. And that's why he came to talk to us at this event last year. It really is make sure you've got a concrete use case with a concrete business case so you can prove an ROI. It can be something pretty simple, but make sure that it has an impact. So it's got a reasonable amount of volume and focus on that and get it right and learn the skills to actually orchestrate the AI as well as just building the conversation. And once you've done that and you build the skills up, yeah, you can start delivering all sorts of stuff. As I said, there's no real limit now to what can be achieved in the customer experience.
Brilliant. And I was checking out your LinkedIn profile. You have a number of workshops and webinars, seminars online. Where else can folks meet you?
In terms of the schedule, we'll obviously be all over Europe and the US at all of the main contact center events. We're very, very focused. As I said, all we do is AI agents for the contact center. So yeah, generally, if there's a big major contact center event within your region, we'll probably be there. We love to tell our story. Yeah, we've got so many customers that love to join us on stage and tell us stories as well.
Brilliant. Well, enjoy the last couple of days in Las Vegas. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and thanks so much for the update, Alan. Really appreciate the insights, and congratulations again on all the success and the acquisition and all the good things happening these days for you and the team.
Exactly. Yes, this is just the beginning of the next stage.
All right. Thanks. And everyone, take care. Thanks for liking, sharing this episode, and be sure to check out our new TV show, techimpact.tv. On Bloomberg and Fox Business. Thanks so much. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Alan.
Great conversation. Thanks, Evan.
Bye-bye.